Today, looking at the XRP price chart, we've had a very nice week for XRP, pushing up 30% now, nearing our local high in our first area of resistance that we were looking for. And today we're going to get into how close is this price chart to exploding? How close is XRP to finally exploding to that $10 price target that we're looking for? And how much more working out is there to do right here before we can see some expansion in the market and some expansion for the XRP price chart? So if you caught yesterday's Bitcoin video, you'd see that we're likely looking for a top in this region here. And it looks like we're starting to see the signs of our first break of structure here on Bitcoin, which could be the start of this pullback. Although we were looking not for the highs, but for this level here, we were looking for a sweep to grab some liquidity to the upside of this region, which we've just fallen short of, but it looks like we're starting to see the signs of Bitcoin breaking down now, and we're still looking for that target region around 96 to 95,000. On top of that, we're starting to see a bit of a bounce in the Bitcoin dominance, which could likely mean that the dominance is going to chill out here for a while, like we talked about in this situation here in 2017, where the dominance first showed its sign of breaking, chilled out for a while, and then we went for the big break on the dominance, where coins like XRP can outperform Bitcoin and see a lot of money flowing to them. On top of that, we have the DXY actually breaking above a local level of support here, which we were hoping it would find resistance here and break down, but it looks like we're breaking to the upside. We also have gold here sitting on support, sitting on its 200 EMA. So all in all, it looks likely that there could be some money flowing out of Bitcoin here, a bit of a pullback, a bit of a correction. The DXY might catch a bit of a bounce. Gold might catch a bit of a bounce here on supports, and it's likely that this dominance chills out, takes a little bit back, similar to the way it did in 2017 here, before we can finally see that dominance break down and everyone's favorite coin, XRP here, finally break out to the upside. So how are we playing this range? Where are we looking to enter in long positions? And where is the most likely zone for XRP to correct to here if this is the first sign of a correction? So if we look back to 2021 here, we can see this is the zone of consolidation before XRP went on its rampage to its highs here in 2021. And what we can see is that XRP came up for its high, rejected, had its very first bounce here, and then it went into this long consolidation, marking its bottoms. And then eventually we started to see price break out. Similar to today, where we've had our move up, and then we've had price sell off, catch its first bounce right here. And now we went into a long period of consolidation, marked our bottoms, and now we've started to see price rip back up to the upside here with this 27% weekly move. And now we're seeing a rejection on XRP here at the same zone that we've seen the rejection come in 2021. Whereas price came up, had its rejection, chilled out here for a while, and then eventually sold off, broke down past this first correction on the move to the upside, and then found support in this local region of demand. Whereas today we've come up, similar, found our bottoms, consolidated for a while, come up to our highs, found our high at the same region. We found our high here in 2021, and now we're looking for that pullback, for those long entries, and for the very last chance for anyone who hasn't got into this market to potentially load up for that move that comes to the upside, and things get very exciting here. So where on this chart is that local area of demand where we'd be likely to find a similar entry to this chart? Well, you see on the move up here, we had our first correction before blowing off here. Similar to by today's measures, we had our first correction in this zone before blowing up, which then led us to take out the lows of that and find support in this supply zone. So by today's measures, that would be taking out this low and finding support likely in this supply zone. So if given, going by 2021, this would be similar levels. Now, if we have a look back to December and January of last year, before we see XRP move up and go for that $3 plus move, we've seen similar things. We've seen the first sign of a top came in, the bounce, then we've seen this long sell-off, seen the bottom get marked, we've seen a long period of sideways consolidation confirming that bottom, and then we've seen price rally out, get rejected at the exact same level that it did here and that it's at right now. Then after this move, we consolidated for a while up here before then eventually selling off, sweeping that first correction that we had before our final move up and finding support in this local supply zone. And in both examples, we can see that the bottom is marked once price regains from this first correction. From this first correction, once price regains this zone, the bottom is marked. So by today's standards, once we break down past this level and then bounce back above it, it's likely confirmed that wherever XRP lands, whether it be in the supply zone or just shy of it, that the bottom has been hit and that we've had our first sign of break of market structure and that we're likely to move back to the upside like we did in this example and like we did in this example. So this is roughly how I think price will play out. I think we'll sit in these levels for a while. We'll wait for Bitcoin to figure out if this is going to be that breaking down point for Bitcoin or if it's going to bounce to our yellow line that we've had marked here for a while before then selling off and correcting. And if so, that's most likely XRP chilling out here for a while before coming down to these supply zones where we can take long positions and load up if we haven't got into this market yet. And then after that, like we've seen in this example, there isn't really any other entry points. You're only just buying small pullbacks all the way up. You're only just buying small pullbacks on the way up. And that's how XRP's price moves. So this is potentially the last time we may see a major correction here for people looking to get into the market. And after this, it's likely XRP's price explodes from here and that it in fact goes for that full 4.236 extension that we're looking for at this $9 to $10 region. So very bullish here on XRP. We've seen everything that we've wanted to see. We've seen price break out, and now we're just looking for that last opportunity to buy in and take those long positions to load up for what could come next and what most likely will come next, which is that final push for XRP that takes us to that $9 region. So I know a lot of people out there are feeling the excitement. Very happy to see XRP break above that $2.60 region, and all looks good. Everything looks good on Bitcoin. This is exactly what we want to see. This is what we've been waiting for, and we're finally at that area now where I think things are just going to chill out for a little bit of time. We're going to see the DXY catch a little bit of momentum here. We're going to see gold potentially bounce off supports, which means that crypto is likely to chill out and sell off. XRP is likely to chill out and sell off the same way it did in 2021 and the same way it did in January and December before that final opportunity to load up and go for the expansion. Now what I'm seeing here on the charts is just my neutral position on XRP. I've been a long-term holder of this coin for many years now, so I'm very happy to see things shoot up from here. However, if you're still sitting on the sidelines, this is the optimal zone that I would be looking at to buy in, around 220 to 225. However, there is still the possibility that this doesn't play out and that XRP just rips to the upside. We see crazy bullish continuation and we see Bitcoin rip to its all-time high, consolidate for a small period of time and go. There is the extreme bullish case. However, I think that is quite unlikely and that there will be that moment now where a lot of people get shaken out of the market. We do see that correction and hopefully get to scale in on some really, really juicy long opportunities down in this 220 area. If price does break down below these lows here and regains that before making it to this low $2.20 area, that is a likely confirmation signal that the low is in for XRP and that it will V-bottom out of here quite fast, quite aggressively, like we've seen in the past, and that will be the start of our expansionary move up. So I hope everyone out there isn't getting too caught up in the emotions right now, too caught up in the price action and trying to stay patient, trying to stay level-headed, not feeling that FOMO too much, because the last thing you want to be doing is getting washed out of your positions in an area like this when we are so close to finally seeing expansion in XRP and in Bitcoin. Meanwhile, the dominance is at that area where it's likely to consolidate for a while and break down, which gives us that massive move where we see a ton of money flow into the altcoins and this market gets really exciting. I'll keep you guys updated with more videos throughout the week on this, watching how this price action develops, and when we do get into these ranges, documenting a live trade that we plan to take over the course of the next 2 to 3 weeks, which could potentially take us all the way to that $9 XRP take profit sell zone. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.